Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Rebecca and here I like to post my travel vlogs and movie reviews. Sorry I haven't been posting for a while. I've been really busy with the holidays and getting ready and shopping and everything, but I'm back now and I'm ready to review more movies. Since my last review, I have seen other movies like Disney's Encanto and Tick Tick Boom on Netflix. They're both great movies. I had nothing really deep to say about them other than they're fantastic. Please go watch them. I highly recommend go see those movies. So for this video, I'm going to review the new West Side Story movie. Now, before we get into the review, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like and subscribe button. I get a little jolt of happiness every time I get a new subscriber. So please like and subscribe if you want to hear more movie reviews or interested in my many travels. Okay, let's get into the review. So, West Side Story. I first saw the original 1960s West Side Story in music class when I was in 6th grade, and I hated it. It was too dark, way too dark for me when I was like 12 years old. I didn't like the rumble, the fighting. I didn't like the murders. I didn't like the sappy love story. I hated it. I didn't like it. So as I gotten older and through high school learned to appreciate and learn about musicals, I saw this again in college for another music class, and I have a greater appreciation for the beautiful music, the great lyrics, the story, take it or leave it. But I haven't seen the originals since college. So I went into this movie not blind, but not refreshed with the old movie. Before I go any further, I'm gonna say spoilers, but it's a 50-year-old musical. If you don't know the story, it's Romeo and Juliet. If you don't know that story, I'm sorry. That's on you. It's culture. So, some general notes about the movie. The music, fantastic. It's just gorgeous. It is done by the New York Philharmonic. So it sounds like a live stage full orchestra and not just a random studio orchestra. The choreography, fantastic. It's awesome. I haven't seen classical ensemble ballet and modern musicals in a long time. I mean, Cats had ballet, but it was more CGI. These are real people. So, choreography is great. So the setting is in old New York in the 60s, on the west side, of course. And everyone is just trying to hold on to the past. And because of this new theme, there is more reason and motivation for the fight between the two gangs. The Jets hate the Puerto Ricans because they're the ones who took over the neighborhoods from their parents and grandparents and got jobs and made their own businesses. They took over the neighborhood basically from their Irish, Italian grandparents and great-grandparents and Polish and all that. But the Puerto Ricans are about to lose the neighborhood. All of them are, because of the New York gentrification and the rich people moving in. I mean, the first shot is a sign that says future location of the Lincoln Center. The whole place is torn down buildings in rubble. It's construction. So the old is being torn down for the new. So everyone's just trying to hold on to what they know. So that's the setting. That's the new theme. There's a deeper motivation. It's great. All right, into the cast. I love the cast. One of the great things about this film is that there is no big Hollywood name, no big celebrity that comes in just to get money and who can't sing. There's no Russell Crowe, there's no James Corden, there's no big Hollywood name. The only actor I did recognize, and I've had trouble, like throughout the movie, I was like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? It's Brian D'Arcy James, and he's more of a Broadway actor anyway. He plays Officer Krupke, and he doesn't sing, and he doesn't sing. How can you cast Brian D'Arcy James and not have him sing? Anyway, so most of the cast members are either Broadway actors or they're relatively new and unknown, and they're unknown to the general moviegoers anyway. So they're great. They're wonderful, talented dancers, singers, actors. Amazing. Like I said, Brian D'Arcy James plays Officer Krupke, and I'm glad he wasn't the dumb Irish cop trope. He played it straight, and he really wanted order and peace between the citizens of the West Side. And the other actor I didn't recognize at first, but I figured out who it was. It was Rita Marino, who played a new character called Valentina, but she originated the role of Anita in the old movie. And she is like the neighborhood abuela from In the Heights. She is the new character of Doc, who runs the store that is the hangout for the Jets. Though it was said in the film that Valentina married Doc, who was the owner of the store, but Doc passed, so now she owns it. And at one point, they showed an old photograph of her as Anita alongside Ned Glass, who originally played Doc in the old movie. Like, they were on set together. So I was like, is this an alternate universe where Anita married Doc because Doc saved her from the Jets that one time? I don't know. It was weird, but it was a great connection. That was my thinking. My other favorite character was Riff. Riff is the leader of the Jets, and fantastic. The guy, Mike Face, I think that's his name. He looks like a young John Mulaney. He is a great singer. I actually like his version of When You're a Jet better than the original. And great dancer, fantastic dancer. And I knew he looked a little familiar because he originated the role of Connor Murphy in Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway. So he's a Broadway actor, was in Newsies as well. Fantastic. He stood out the most to me. So the opening number, you hear the whistle, as in the original, as on the stage. All the members of the Jets come out, and they're gathering paint cans, and they're going through the neighborhood. They're ripping down store signs, and as they're going down the road, my first thought, I was like, oh, they're just dancing like Newsies. They're dancing in the street. This looks like Newsies, the film, not the Broadway show. What also came to mind was the old SNL sketch with Norm Macdonald and Robert Downey Jr. Spoofing West Side Story. It's a great sketch, very funny. If you haven't seen it, I'll link the video in the description. But that's exactly what came to mind when you walking down the street and all of a sudden you see a bunch of boys jumping and dancing their way down the street as well. And they're just screwing up the neighborhood, and all the Puerto Ricans are getting upset. So as they're going down the street, jumping and dancing, they stop at graffiti of the Puerto Rican flag in this basketball court, and they're just angrily painting over it. So then Bernardo comes out, and he's the leader of the Sharks, though I don't think they actually mention that they're called the Sharks. It's not as clear-cut as the original movie was, when they had like jets and sharks all over the set. There's nothing like that. So they actually fight for real. So that was the opening number. Those were my thoughts. Going through the songs are mostly the same, except that they switched the order of Cool and I Feel Pretty. They just switched. The song Cool in the original was about, it was after the Rumble. They were just about, hey, calm down, it's going to be okay, stay cool. But now it's about fighting over possession of a gun, which is actually better. because then it tracks how the gun entered the picture in the first place and how Chino ends up with it. It's a good number, and it helps tell the story much better than in the original. The song Somewhere is not a duet anymore, and it is earlier in the film, just a little bit. It's sung by Rita Marino. She sings it after she finds out about the Rumble and what happened. What other thing that also surprised me that is not like other modern musicals about this film is that there is no original song for Oscar consideration. It's all the songs from the stage play and the film. I was surprised. I thought it's a modern musical. They're going to put in a new song. Nope, didn't happen. So and the song America is much more fleshed out, and it's sung and danced through the neighborhood instead of just on a rooftop like in the movie. It shows the entire Puerto Rican community, just like in the Heights, and it uses the lyrics from the movie and not from the stage. I realized going back that the lyrics changed per the adaptation. Song from the original play was comparing America to Puerto Rico and how good it is, but now in the movie it's comparing the good and the bad about America between Anita and Bernardo. The movie added more scenes that explored character backstory and motivation and had much more development. Tony has a dark past, and he's a recently released felon. I wasn't sure if that was clear in the original movie. Bernardo is now a boxer and runs his own gym, and he and the rest of his friends protect the neighborhood from the Jets. And Bernardo and Tony have more of a relationship and more of an on-screen conflict because of Maria. They in the mambo dancing in the gym, they actually get into an argument, a tiff, if you will, and it's clear, much clearer. I went back and saw scenes from the original film. I'm like, yeah, that why are they angry? It's not clear at all. Chino is also on screen much more, and just doesn't appear out of nowhere. In this film he now has a deep friendship with Bernardo, so that's more of the reason of his revenge rather than just being jealous of Tony and Maria. And it's better. It's a better motivation. And before the Rumble, he and Tony have a moment together, just a look and a moment, but it foreshadows the end of the film. Another new scene is now Tony starts to learn Spanish from Valentina to communicate with Maria. Obviously, that scene was not in the original. The character of Anybody's, the girl who wants to join the Jets, has a bigger part in this, and it gets into the transgender issue of her character a little bit, but you see, it mentions it more, and it's much more ambiguous. The actor who plays Anybody is fantastic, very, very good. So yeah, the film is mostly the same as the original 1961 film, but they updated it where they could for modern audiences. The fighting between the two groups is not as ballet and stylized as it was in the original. The costumes are not as technicolor. Riff is not wearing command gold to show that he's the leader. I didn't even know who Riff was until he and Bernardo meet together after the first fight in the beginning. But they do use color in some instances, like in the gym dance. The Jets members are wearing blue, and the Sharks are wearing red, I'm going to say. So there's a good contrast. You can tell throughout the big choreography who is who. And in the end scene, in the finale, they do use color again to identify the two groups. So when they come together, it's nice. There's another update. When they fight, they are getting dirty and bloody, and you feel it. Another update: instead of the Puerto Rican girls being seamstresses in the song "I Feel Pretty," they are cleaners and custodians of a department store, which is more relatable. The Rumble scene is set in a road salt warehouse and not just a random fenced in lot. And the police in this movie have more presence. They show up at the end of the fight, and the song "G Officer Krupke" takes place inside the police station. There's also a lot of Spanish dialogue, a lot of Spanish dialogue in the scenes. There's no subtitles. So if you don't know Spanish, I mean, the action, you can try to figure it out a little bit. I tried to decipher what they were saying with my limited vocabulary, but yeah, it's half a foreign film. But you know, subtitles would ruin it. It didn't need subtitles at all. This is definitely more fitting for today's audience. This is a good way to introduce people to this musical and movie musicals and other musicals in general. It's also good if you're already a fan of the original. They stay true to the style. They stay true to the major themes that the original wanted to get across. Um, and they use actual Broadway actors and singers and not Hollywood people. That is so refreshing. Why can't every movie musical be like this? It's fantastic. I didn't want to cry at the end because I knew what was going to happen. And it, it's Romeo and Juliet. I didn't want to cry at that, but they got me a single tear. Single tear ran down my face. So, I'm a fan. A plus. I have been. They changed my mind. I now like West Side Story. A plus. I would watch this again. So, yeah, highly recommend. Definitely Oscar worthy. Go see it. So thank you for watching. If you want to see more, please hit that like and subscribe button. I have some travel videos that I'm going to edit and upload soon. So see you on the road.